Welcome to For Good Measure, an interview series celebrating diverse composers and other creative artists, sponsored by a grant from the California Arts Council. I'm Nanette McGuinness, Artistic Executive Director of Ensemble for these times. In this week's episode, we continue our conversation with Rajna Swaminathan, who we spoke to in January 2024. You spoke earlier about some forms being more open than others. It made me curious what you meant in terms of open forms. I may be being naive here, and it's something very obvious.
No, it's not. So for instance, there was this piece that was commissioned by the LA Phil for their Green Umbrella series a few years ago, and it ended up getting postponed due to the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Only got premiered in 2022 by Jacaranda, and that piece ends with a text score. So it slowly comes out of notated form in a gradual way. So it's quite, through notated with elements of improvisation in between, and slowly gets to a point where everything's in independent tempi, and it's more about creating a collage of phrases, and then slowly everybody's invited to move away from their instruments and only use their voices, which is an element throughout the piece. And actually today there's a new version of it being premiered by Brightwork in LA, so I'm excited to hear that.
Nice, yeah.
But yeah, there's a kind of optional voice part throughout, so anybody can sing while they're playing, and there's some pitches that they can sing. So there's a way that this whole piece just kind of allows itself to become a reference point for its ending. So that's kind of what the end of the piece specifies, is allow these resonances to kind of continue through your voice, through your memory, and allow this ending to just come together spontaneously. And
Nice.
parts, well, it worked well during the premiere, I should say. Hear another version of it tonight, so
Yeah.
I'll let you know how that goes. But that's what I mean, I guess, is that is a completely open ending, where I'm not really even specifying duration.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying you're going to carry the end with your voice and extend what you just heard, what you just played, but find a collective ending together in your voices. And so that's an example maybe of like the most open it can go. But it's I think it's still within the realm of what people encounter. Maybe not the more like, rigid classical side of things, but Pauline Oliveros has had text scores. There's been other, I'm sure people have been exposed to that. So it's
I certainly have, yes.
open, right? It's improvised.
Yeah.
So I like finding ways to combine those things, because then it allows it to feel like, okay, well, I don't need to tell you what to do. I don't even need to give you these boundaries, but I can just tell you to trust that you have enough musicality and rapport with the other musicians that you can find a way to end this piece together with your voices, and to lean on that shared language, or that shared kind of experience of having gone through the piece. But yeah, I guess that's what I mean by degrees of openness.
No, that was very interesting. And it wasn't what I expected by you're saying open form. So thank you. That's very interesting. I want to go back. You talked about being at the GLF CAM, Gabriella and Frank Creative Academy of Music. Talk about that experience a little bit if you'd like.
Yeah, that was really wonderful. I was really early in my process of writing through composed music. I had actually really not really written a piece that was through composed like that. And my younger sibling, Anjana, was the one who had gone through that program first and recommended me. And they had a lot to say about Gabby and just how wonderful the experience was. And they had also worked with Del Sol, the string quartet, and encouraged me to, to do this. And I also really enjoyed my time. I also worked with Del Sol. And maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit here for one of your other questions, but
Yes,
uh,
we are right there.
I for that piece, which was my first string quartet, I transcribed fragments of a piano improvisation that I had done um, maybe like the year prior or something, or like a few months before, something that really resonated with me and that I had been listening back to quite a bit. And yeah, that was the first piece that I finished, at least I should say. Or maybe I didn't finish that first. One of those, the Ellie Phil piece or that one, it was around the same time. Um, but the experience of working with Gabby and meeting other composers was really wonderful. And everybody came from like different paths and different approaches. And it's just nice to have a community of composers to be in conversation with. And I think
Yeah.
over time, I've ended up meeting with people, or it's a way of connecting. Also, I noticed that, as you connected with me, um, there's been other composers or organizations that I'm like, oh, I know you through this GLF Cam thing, and so it's been a nice way of connecting with others. And I've tried to bring friends of mine into that community as well, by recommending them for the readings. And so it's a nice community. And I also was involved with the Composing Earth initiative the past couple of years.
Mhm.
Which was also, it was a different kind of experience. Obviously, we weren't talking so much directly about music, but more about our role as artists in the face of climate change. So
Right.
I've enjoyed just the potential of that community and all the different ways that can manifest, both through, just, having friends and a sense of community, but also, professional opportunities, also just resources on how to think about what we do as artists and our responsibilities in this larger question that everybody's facing together around the climate crisis.
Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, it's been wonderful to have that.
Yeah, it does seem like a very powerful gathering institution, I guess, if institution is even right. So community is probably the better word.
Thank you for listening to For Good Measure, and a special thank you to our guest, Rajna Swaminathan, for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast by clicking on the subscribe button and support us by sharing it with your friends, posting about it on social media, and leaving us a rating and a review. To learn more about E4TT, our concert season online and in the Bay Area, or to make a tax-deductible donation, please visit us at e4tt.org. This podcast is made possible in part by a grant from the California Arts Council and generous donors like you. For Good Measure is produced by Nanette McGuinness and Ensemble for These Times and designed by Brennan Stokes, with special thanks to co-producer and audio engineer Stephanie M. Neumann. Remember to keep supporting equity in the arts and tune in next week for Good Measure.